Hey, what's going on YouTube land? This your boy TJ and welcome to my YouTube channel Wrestling Nostalgia, where I give my reviews on the WWE shows and PLE events. And today I want to go ahead and give my review on Monday Night Raw, March 11th, 2024. So let's go ahead and get right into it, right? So we opened up Monday Night Raw with Drew McIntyre, and he's airing out his grievances how Seth Rollins is a junkie for attention and the spotlight, and he just couldn't help but to go ahead and get his fix and agreed to a tag team match with Cody Rhodes against The Rock and Roman Reigns. He throws the shots in there with CM Punk and things like that. And then this is when Seth Rollins comes out and he challenges him, and he said that Claymore kick, got my attention, but how about you do it again, this time in my face? But then he pauses and he said, oh, will this be more suitable for you? So then he turns around and he said, go ahead. This is when Drew McIntyre said, before everything gets too weird, he said, you were right. You were right about me getting over the bloodline and go ahead and focus on myself. And I did. And now I'm the #1 contender for the world championship. But he said, you didn't listen to me. You still took on the tag team match. And now you're going to be overbooked. And he continues to tell him that he should have minded Raw's business. This is when Seth says that he reminds him of someone, which is CM Punk, which both of them are hypocrites as well. And you might as well call Drew McIntyre a honorary member of the Bloodline at this point, being as though that they keep helping him win his matches. And he can say all he wants that, oh, well, he didn't ask for their help and this, that, and the third, but he has no problem with accepting it. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, at this point, yeah. Seth continues and says that at night one at WrestleMania, he is going to take down the Bloodline regardless. He also continues and says that he's going to take Drew McIntyre out of his misery already. Drew says that you're trying to bait me and it's not going to happen because I'm not going to attack you so that way you can have an excuse as to why you're not 100% at WrestleMania. So I'm going to just go ahead and leave you in the ring by yourself. So as he leaves the ring, this is when Seth says that you are on the bottom of the totem pole of the list and you're not important. So this is when he goes back to the ring and he was seriously thinking about getting back in the ring and probably punching his lights out, but he winds up turning back around and leaves the ring. This is getting very intense, and let me tell you something. If Drew McIntyre loses this, I don't want to see him in another championship match ever again after this, to be honest. Because at this point, it just doesn't make sense for him to get another championship opportunity just for him to lose it. Is he leaving the company? That's why, that's the only thing that would make sense to me, because what's the point of giving this man a world championship match if he lost twice and then you're going to give him another one just for him to lose again? But hey, that's my, opinion about that situation. Oh, and one thing I did like about Raw, that they did do a bunch of promos with the people that were going to be in the Intercontinental Championship #1 contender gauntlet match. I like the fact that they all had their stories to tell and they were able to hit their promos and things like that. And I was here for it. So our first match of the night is Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. They had a pretty standard back and forth match. The things that stood out to me the most is when they both went back and forth with hitting each other's finishers and then rolling out the ring. Liv did it first. She gets hit with the manhandle slam, and then when Becky goes to try to pin her, she ends up rolling out the ring. Liv hits her Oblivion, and I'm thinking for a second she was gonna win that, and then she rolls out the ring. So then, a whole bunch of back and forth later, she ends up hitting her manhandle slam, 1, 2, 3. She wins the match. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see Liv winning this match only because this is too close to WrestleMania season. WrestleMania is literally next month. I didn't see her losing this match against Liv unless they were going to add her to the match. I mean, it's still not too late to consider that. I'm not going to lie. I really don't want a triple threat match, and I really don't want a fatal four-way. Please leave it one-on-one, because this is what happened 2019 at WrestleMania 35, when they shoehorned Charlotte into this match. I just don't like the whole shoehorning thing. Just go ahead and let them have their one-on-one match, Rhea and Becky, and let's just go ahead and get it over with. But after the match, Rhea Ripley comes out. So after Rhea comes out, she has a stare off with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan says, everything you have is going to be mine, and this and the third. So then finally she gets in the ring with Becky Lynch, and she tells Becky congratulations, and she asks her, is it worth it? She also continues and said that a lot lately you've been taking on a bunch of these matches and this and the third, and you said that you fight for these people, but the real reason why you fight so much is because you want an excuse as to why you're not 100%. You'll have a reason to say that you lost. And I'm like, ooh, well. And she continues to say that if you come into WrestleMania anything less than 100%, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania and you will no longer be the man. Becky counters that and says that about right before Royal Rumble, you may be better than me and I have to prove myself that you aren't. She said that basically grew life. You know, she had some type of analogy about trees and growing branches and it spread across the world or something like that. So then this is when she said, when the world is with me, I'm good. But when the world is against me, I'm great. And she ends it with, if I have to go against the world and you, then it's going to be me. In this next segment, both the GMs of Raw and SmackDown have announced that it's going to be a six-pack challenge match, ladder match, at WrestleMania for the Tag Team Undisputed Championships. And there are going to be several number one contender matches to determine who's going to be in the match. I'm like, I never heard of 6 teams all being in the ring at once. I guess they really are trying to make this the biggest WrestleMania they possibly can. We'll see how that formulates. But I mean, how are 6 teams? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 12 people. So 12 people gonna be in the ring. Yo, good luck, WWE. In this next match, it was Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. This match was relatively short, and it ended with Maxine Dupree almost doing the worm or something like that backwards. And then when she was about to hit the finish elbow, this is when Candice LeRae got into Maxine Dupree's face. She continues to say how she's embarrassing herself and how it's a good thing that her brother isn't here to see how much of embarrassment you are. You don't belong in this ring and this and third. But when she mentions her brother, this is the time that she walks off and says she couldn't do it. So Indy Hartwell winds up kicking her right in the face. 1, 2, 3, she pins her. And it looks like Indy Hartwell is kind of reluctant on this win because she didn't want to do it this way. But we're going to see how the development of this team formulates throughout the weeks. So in this next segment, this is when the Judgment Day comes into the GM's office and they ask, okay, whose bright idea was it to make the six-pack challenge match in the world? Like, oof. So this is when Nick Atlas says some things are better left unsaid, and he does like this, like pointing at Adam Pearce. So then Adam Pearce brings up Miz and R-Truth somewhere in there, insinuating it was their idea. So he said, you're taking suggestions from them. So he said, you know what? We want to take them on tonight. So then he said, well, too bad. I got some more bad news. They're not here tonight. So I guess they were on some press run tour or something like that for WrestleMania. So this is when R-Truth comes in out of nowhere. And he said, Adam Pearce said, what are you doing in here? Like, you were supposed to do the press tour for WrestleMania. So then this is when he said, yeah, that was Monday. Doofus, today's Monday. I'm like, yo, this man gotta be stopped. Damon Priest challenges R-Truth in a match 1-on-1 later on tonight. So we're gonna see Damon Priest versus R-Truth. In this next segment, it was an interview with Michael Cole and Cody Rhodes. Basically, to wrap this all up, he says that he's going to finish the story at WrestleMania. I believe at some point, Michael Cole asked Cody Rhodes, why did he slap The Rock? He said it feels good to slap your boss. And WrestleMania, it's time for the Bloodline to be stopped once and for all. So that's basically the gist of the interview. In this next segment, it was a stare-off with Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. And then they handshake. And this is when Nia just come out of nowhere and attack both of them. She slams Liv Morgan into, I guess, an equipment case. and lays her out. And then she wound up laying out Becky Lynch and said, "Oh, I'm not done with you yet." So she winds up doing the manhandle slam through the table to end the night of Becky Lynch. And now they're going to have a last woman standing match next week on Raw. And I'm very interested in seeing how this is going to formulate. In this next match, it is for the Women's Tag Team Championships. The Kabuki Warriors, the reigning Tag Team Champions, versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. They had a pretty decent tag team match. A lot of back and forth. It could have went either way. But to end the match, Shayna Baszler ate the loss. She wound up getting hit with the insane elbow. And 1, 2, 3, they retained their tag team championships. So in this next segment, it is the Judgment Day and Andrade, and they are in talks of working business together. And behind the scenes, Dominic Mysterio is bidding up Andrade. So they are kind of on the same page, on one accord, with working with Andrade somewhere down the line. So I'm interested in seeing how everything works out with them. I mean, whether it'll be Andrade heel or face, I'm here for it. In this next match, it is Damian Priest versus R-Truth. They had a pretty standard back and forth one-on-one match. DIY came out to support R-Truth, and R-Truth looks like he was going to win. R-Truth hits the 5-knuckle shuffle and the attitude adjustment. It looks like he has everything well in hand, but unfortunately, the Judgment Day came out to attack DIY from behind, and he ends up getting distracted and getting hit with the South of Heaven, 1, 2, 3, which is another version of the choke slam. And Damian Priest wins this match. After he gets out the ring, DIY gets attacked again and get laid out by the Judgment Day. So in this next segment, it was relatively short, extremely short, and I liked it. Cut clear and right to the point. Jey Uso came out and said that I've been trying to get away from the Bloodline, but the Bloodline don't want to let me go. So you know what? At WrestleMania, how about it would be twin versus twin, brother versus brother at WrestleMania? Me and you, Jimmy. What do you say? So I guess we're going to get twin versus twin at WrestleMania for the first time ever. So now we are at the main event, the Intercontinental Championship #1 contender match. 6 guys, 1 opportunity. I'm going to just go ahead and skip on to the end. It started off with Ricochet versus JD. JD gets eliminated. Then Bronson Reed came out. He eliminated Ricochet. Then Sami Zayn came out. Sami Zayn eliminated Bronson Reed. Then Shinsuke Nakamura came out. Then he was eliminated. And then it was Sami versus Chad Gable. They had a really, really great match. Unfortunately, Chad Gable got rolled up. 1, 2, 3. Your #1 contender is Sami. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be real. The wrong person went over. I feel like Chad Gable had way more of a story, way more depth into the reason why he wanted to face Gunther. So I don't understand why Sami went over and whose decision was that, because I'm going to be real. I'm way more invested into Chad Gable and him dethroning Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship versus Sami. To be honest, I don't want to see Sami win the Intercontinental Championship again for the 4th time. It's nothing against him or the 3rd. It's nothing against him or anything like that. It's just like Chad Gable said, it just means more to him. But anyways, that is my review. This Raw was decent. It could have been a little bit better. It was kind of little fillers, a little bit too much. But other than that, it was pretty decent. It could have been a little bit better. But as the road to WrestleMania goes on, the road is getting hotter and hotter. So hopefully, WWE be cooking up something really, really good. So comment down below and let me know, how did you feel about last night's Raw and everything like that. And peace. I'm out.